What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of having uh, former U.S. Marine, currently signed to Bellator MMA. He is a mixed martial artist. He's a friend to us all. He is the War Rhino, Shane Krutchten. Shane, how are
Well,
you?
good man. How you doing?
Great, great. Better to see you. Obviously, would rather be in person because kind of us in the LA, Southern California combat sports scene. We almost saw each other like in passing almost every weekend, a couple times a month, and that just
Right.
that just went boom out of the water.
Yep. Yeah, man. That's just. Yeah. The scaredemic is scaring everybody.
Yeah, man. It's a crazy time. Obviously, we they had the tragedy befell, Kobe Bryant and his family and whatever, and that seemed eons ago, eons
Yeah.
ago, and
Right?
yeah,
Years. It was months. But if you look at it, I with everything going on, obviously, Bellator started back up. I'm blessed enough to be on the card coming up, 244. I'm facing an undefeated, young prospect. My second undefeated young prospect. This time I'm gonna go in a lot healthier. not gonna walk in on to my own slaughter. That's good. But at the same time, with all the COVID crap going on and everybody's closing gyms down, everything, we refuse to close down. We've stayed open the whole time against Governor Newsom's orders and wishes and wants and BS crap. I've been able to stay active, still teaching classes, still very active, in shape, running every day. Just because 24-hour fitness closes down in some gyms, doesn't mean that we can take time off either. We're still professional athletes. We need to get going.
absolutely, absolutely. And somebody you and I both know well, one Manolo El Hurrican Hernandez, says, "Hey, what's up? What's up, Manny? And can't wait to have you here on According to Woods." So there's that.
Oh, that's
Putting it
gonna be a nice
out.
conversation.
Oh yeah, that's good. How many podcasts is that guy doing? In addition to being one of your coaches and whatever, how many podcasts is Manny doing right now?
Man, I miss the Manolo Eats parts, like it's, the COVID crap is killing Manolo Eats. Okay, Manolo Eats can't go perform. Okay, and that's
No, I agree. I agree. And he just confirmed, let's do it. Okay, check those DMs right after this, good sir. But
cool.
yeah, dude, it's crazy because right now, all right, a lot of fighters that were kind of on the bubble in terms of, like, oh, can I get a call to the big show of Bellator and UFC and what have you? More call ups are happening now in this, like, at least the last 3 or 4 months than there ever has been before. And especially like our kind of Southern California scene. But I mean, it's happening everywhere.
Yeah, it's a guy I actually faced at Madison Square Garden for World Series of Fighting, Jeremy Mahone. He had one guy that was fighting in the UFC last week, I believe, and then all of a sudden he literally brought a guy as a corner, and he got called up as a corner, and it was like, what the heck's the chances of that? It's really cool. I'm really stoked for him. Unfortunately, the gentleman ended up fainting in the another one of his fighters fainted in the tunnel. I wish him and his family nothing but the best. I've heard what happened, and it's really tragic. When you make it to that show, you make it to that level, and something happens with your body, and your body just says enough's enough. But I'm a firm believer that God has their reasons for everything, and there's a reason why you're either sidelined or you go forward with everything in life, and that's either business or fighting.
No, agreed. And the gentleman that you're speaking of is Trevin Giles, and in that fight, a lot of people had him picked as. I know I picked him as one of the winners of that
Yeah.
particular contest. So but imagine if just moments later the same thing happened when he entered the octagon. I mean, this is tragic, but it could have been even worse.
In the tunnel versus in the cage, two completely different worlds. But like you said, God forbid somebody would have been on top of him and wouldn't have been caught in time. God forbid, I mean, there's a million different scenarios, right? it deals with so many different aspects of the world. So, I text Jeremy Mahone right away. I happened to be in Las Vegas while it was going on, and I text him just wishing him the best instantly. I knew he wasn't going to get back to me right away. He ended up getting back to me later that evening, apologizing for not coming out and partying. I was out there with some buddies, and I said, dude, your fighters are your family, and family always comes first. So at the end of the day, I'm not mad that you didn't come out for a drink.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing, in terms of priorities. Most of the world, kind of that aren't in this kind of MMA atmosphere, they just think, oh, just grunts and whatever. But there's such a community. There's so many intelligent. I mean, even the fact that, the things that you have to do and learn to become even a subpar mixed martial artist, let alone a elite tier mixed martial artist. That's like a mindset that even astrophysicists probably have a hard time dealing with.
I think if you look around the world, I've trained with some of the best in the world, and I still do to this day. And I appreciate. I love watching the youngest guys, the youngest first timers in class, to the newest of the new, right? And at the same in my academy for jujitsu, I love watching these first dayers come in to guys that are black belts come into my class, and everybody seems like they always learn something, which is awesome, and that's exactly what we're supposed to do as instructors, right? But I'm able to bring my years and years of training, whether it be under Manolo, whether it be under Bill Crawford, Prince, whether it be under Colin Oyama, John Crouch, Benson Henderson, and the list goes on and on and on, that I've always taken everything and always been a sponge and just wanted the knowledge to be able to pass on. And I love passing it on. I just, if it dies with me, what good did their coaching ever do? Right. So, I just kind of look at it like that. And I want to be able to pass it on to them, because to get to the level that I'm at, or, other guys in my shoes are at, it took a lot of work, and Manolo has said that numerous times. It takes a lot of work that people don't see, a lot of stuff. I still to this day run a full-time company. I run my own company, and I still train. So it's really crazy to be able to, do that. But at the same time, it's a blessing to be where I'm at, and a blessing to, now have my wife, geez, my wife is like making, tear through, but unfortunately COVID crap kind of put a halt at that one. But it's still, it's amazing to see my wife doing so well, whom never thought she'd fight, and then all of a sudden met me, and now she's knocking people out and doing better. She's got more knockouts in her 4 fights than I do in almost 20, so it's kind of funny.
Wow. Yes, and shout out to Rena. She's, I mean, literally a California state champion here in California. And an exciting one to watch, and that's got to be super cool for you guys to not just come together in a shared passion, but also be successful in your ventures.
Yeah, a lot of they call it, so my manager always says, it's a fight couple, right? And he's always proud, it's there's a lot of couples in fighting, if you would, but one that I've been through the ringer with my wife. I've been well verbalized on it, and I've gotten myself kicked out of the house. Geez, if you name it, I've named it, and I've been a POS. But I think I've lost my way a few times during the fight career, and Rena seems to always bring me back, which is really cool. She kind of puts her foot down and wears the pants in the family, if you would. So I used to be very opposed to this, this idea of, oh, she can, kind of rule me around. But as soon as I started realizing, I was like, oh shit, maybe she has her head her head is a lot more on than mine. Mine's so far up my ass, I wasn't seeing light. Right. So I ended up just listening to her. I think last year when I received my black belt, at Allianz Jiu-Jitsu, I was there, and there's a picture of Rena giving me a kiss. And I looked at that picture, man, and there's so much emotion behind that picture. But at the same time, I was like, damn, I'm fat. And I was like, oh man, I was like 186 pounds. I was depressed. I had been depressed for a while. I go through these weird slumps, but Rena goes, hey, start eating right. okay, cool. Started eating right. Hey, you need to get back into strength conditioning. I was like, what the hell? And now, mind you, I've been working a lot at Azteca Boxing with Adrian Melendez. So Adrian's been like just honing me in, like getting me better with Matt Sells. Matt Sells and I was helping him with his UFC fight prior to his injury. Kind of doing COVID training, getting him ready for UFC. And, it was really cool to like kind of get back in that groove again and almost find a new light. And it's weird because every fight I find this different light that kind of guides my avenues. This time it was Rena just basically saying, "Hey, look, you've been doing this, you've been working out with Bill, you've been getting this in, you've been doing jujitsu." And then I opened up my academy, in May of this year. So opening that was a huge step, having the blessing from Johnny Ferra and Elias Gallegos and all those guys, and opening it up with Brandon and Damien. Just getting that open was huge. Having my picture on a wall is kind of cool. It's kind of weird. It's something I never sought out to be. But it's just being a name, helping Brandon open that was huge to me. It's a blessing in disguise, being honored with being asked by Sean Fowler and Brandon Guptill to open to be one of the faces, if you would, of it. I was like, oh yeah, dude. And I hit up Elias. I was like, oh, do you mind? And he's like, dude, that's in our association. No, I don't care. um, but Rena really just hones me in, man. And I've gotten so much better in strength training. My conditioning is weirdly better. I put on a lot of muscle mass thanks to Bill Crawford. The other day, so I've been working with Adrian kind of on the DL, and nobody knows I've been working down there with him. And yeah, I know, right? Oh, now it's on YouTube, whatever. But I've been working with Adrian for over a year now, about a year and a half, just working, just strictly, just a lot of stuff, a lot of holes, kind of closing the gaps and putting sealant on there so that the leaks weren't there any longer. And it's really cool because so Bill, the other day I was in Bill's boxing class, and Bill goes, "I don't know where the hell you learned to move, but that was okay. Like, and it's weird. I mean, I used to just be this brick, stand and not move. So it's cool to actually be able to move and see those things. But none of this would be possible without Rena. So to kind of bring the whole conversation back around circle was Rena got me refocused. And I think being refocused helped her and I both in the gym and in life. Being able to support her is huge. The night that she won the Spar Star Championship and the state title, cornering her. I think that, I mean, I've won belts. I've been a corner at big name promotions. That was one of the proudest moments of my life. There's a pretty emotional picture of me lifting her up. And when I lifted her up, man, and you were there, and I mean,
Yeah.
I remember when I was there, dude, I think I was crying more than anybody else in the damn place. I was so proud, and so that's cool. I mean, it's cool when we can support one another. Whether I'm up or down or whatever, she's always like, hey, this is it. So, like this fight, she told me I'm not allowed to shave like I normally do all my fights. And I'm not allowed to get a haircut. So, I'm proudly rocking the mullet, and I'm coming out hardcore, just straight America all the way. And that's I'm an American boy, and I got that straight out Billy Ray Cyrus 80s mullet going, so I'm ready to go.
I mean, tell it to your heart, your ache, your break your heart, right? Just don't, right?
Here's a quarter, call someone who cares. Let's go, baby.
No, and congratulations is in order. Obviously, you own a business. What I mean, to open a gym in May, that's like you were saying, it's pretty incredible, and to have your name on a wall, to be like one of the forefathers of essentially the encasing of that sacred mat, the tatame and whatever, and you're leading the charge for a whole new generation of combat sports athletes. That's incredible.
Yeah, and it's crazy. So like, obviously there's owners, and then there's the faces, and just to be one of the faces, it's like, dude, that's an honor in its darn self, So I don't know if you've seen it. You go to Honu, BJJ. You can look at Honu, East County, and like we have the turtle in the center, and it says Beast County across the top, and that's our, and everything's black and red, and then we got our, our what do they call those, animalistic characters across the side.
Yeah.
A huge war rhino on the side, man, and just with his arms crossed, and I'm like, dude, when I walked in, I got tears in my eyes, and Brandon's like, I remember Brandon texted me. He's like, "You're forever encased on the wall. You can't leave. If you do, you're dead." And I was like, "You're just like, yeah." I was just like laughing. And then we got Russ on there. Brandon's on there. So it's really cool just to kind of forever be encased on that school. Like that school, I was there day one. That school, I helped open day one. And it's an honor. Like, it's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And to say, there's going to be, blue belts or, first stripe white belts and whatever, they're like, oh, I follow under the lineage of Shane
Yeah.
Krutchten, like that's crazy.
Well, I've already promoted my first. I promoted my first ever person in March. My first ever person was Rena Norville, my wife. I think it was a long time coming. She definitely deserved her blue belt beyond anything. There were 6 black belts the day that she got her blue belt. And so 6 black belts all co-signed and said, absolutely, she gets her blue belt. So, we call it the quarantine blue. She got it during quarantine. The first it was the second day after quarantine. We were all supposed to lock down. Yeah, that was cute. But she got her blue belt, and I remember in the morning it was hard to get her out of the room, right? And she was like, "No, I'm tired." And I was like, "No, just come to practice, please. Just come to practice." And so finally she came, and we all started lining up, and she's like, "This is really weird. There's crap ton of crap ton of black belts, and there was only 1 or 2 other blue belts there." And all of a sudden I was like, "Rena, come up here." And she like instantly just stared at me like, "You son of a," and
Yeah.
it was cool, and she posted it, and she said it was her quarantine blue. So it kind of catchy, right? I mean,
Yeah, definitely quarantine blues, and just to kind of solidify your guys' relationship. I mean, we've known each other for a couple of years, and you've always worn your heart on your sleeve, and been so passionate. But I don't think, you know, I've ever seen you even more passionate than interviewing Rena. You stepped back. You were like it became about Rena and your daughter. In that moment, and that interview is probably one of the most fun and uh, experiences that I've had in combat sports. And that was just a very very special moment. But I could see that. So I could only imagine to have a kind of shown back on her, earning her quarantine blue, and doing exactly what she rightfully deserved.
She's been with me now. She's stuck hell and high water and then some for 4 years. I can't not be proud of that woman. She's been with me since the Madison Square Garden fight. When we were still dating, and Madison Square Garden, Bellator. She came with me to DC for PFL. It just goes on and on. I mean, this will be the 3rd Bellator fight. She's stood by my side, and it's like, do I want her in the big show? Absolutely. In every interview, I'm like, "Hey, my wife, have you met my wife? Hey, that's my wife," and I do that for a purpose. I've been around the sport almost just over 15 years now. July was 15 years. I've been in the sport of mixed martial arts. I've trained a lifetime, and I've lived numerous lives, like you mentioned earlier, in the military and training, and now with a school and everything like that. I've always been a student to the game. I've always been a proud student to the game. I've never wanted accolades. I've never wanted recognition. That stuff has come, and I'm very proud of it. And don't get me wrong, like, holy crap, it means the world to me, because it's something I can pass on to my kid. And but now I'm like, now everything I do is to help my wife get the recognition and the publicity she deserves. Like when she was going to fight for the state title, I started calling My MMA News, Adam Hunter, MMA Roasted. I started calling all these big name, geez, Fighters Only magazine. I started calling them Tony, the VP of operations. Like I was calling these people directly, like and I'm like, hey, my wife, and they're like, what? They're like, you're the guy in Bellator, and I'm like, no, dude, here's my wife. She's fighting for amateur title. Like, what's up? So it's cool. When we were at the Fighters Only Awards last year, I was introducing her to people I've been friends with for years, and being like, hey, this is my wife. Hey, this is my wife. Hey, this is my wife. And then she's like, what the, so it's really cool, and it blew her mind, to have people like Tito Ortiz, a great friend of mine, come up to her and be like, oh my, I've heard about you. And Duke Rufus, my original MMA coach, I got to see him and he gave me a big hug, and I introduced him to my wife, and he's inviting my wife to come train at the Rufus Academy if we're ever in Wisconsin. Like, to be at Rufus Sport is a huge, it's an honor to be there during pro team. Yeah, and it's one of the top level schools in the nation. It's really cool to be in a little tiny Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and here you're there going there. But like whenever I go to Wisconsin, that's where I stop in. I got Gerald Mershart there, Sergio Pettis, Anthony Pettis, all those guys are up there. Great individuals, great people. They're real Wisconsin boys. Matador Sanchez himself is up there, and he always writes me, and he goes, time to show Wisconsin what's up, for this fight. It's really cool, to have so many different people, no matter where I go in the country. And you can see it on my Instagram, and you've seen it a dozen times. Anywhere I go, I train, whether it's in Alaska. A couple weeks ago, I was at 10th Planet Soldotna. I train everywhere, man. I was in Costa Rica and I found a Gracie Baja, and I went and trained in Costa Rica. Like, what? My wife kind of hates that. She's like, yo, you're on vacation, dude. Like, take vacation. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm like, that is vacation, but it's something I'm so passionate about is always being a student to the game. Because okay, maybe there's a purple belt teaching, but what if that purple belt knows something I've never seen? Holy crap, I can't wait to ingest that information. Maybe that day I show up and there's a karate guy there. Well, what if that karate guy has a footwork I've never seen? And I'm like, yo, maybe I can take a little piece of that. There's always tools you can always put in your lunchbox.
No, what's amazing in that scenario, and it just shows your thirst for knowledge, even as you've kind of attained one of the pinnacles of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? And become co-owner of a gym, is the fact that you don't stop, right? When you hear of stories of elite fighters, will, especially in this day and age, they'll only spar with certain people because they're afraid of getting hurt. And obviously, yeah, I mean, there's a method to the madness, right? Because if crazy white belt that doesn't have their dexterity and whatever, rolls across their face with their knee, there's a 6 months or whatever that your fight career could be on hold. But you've kind of just, again, gotten a thirst of knowledge and whatever, and you're just like, let me try that, and it's a proverbial kid in the candy store when it comes to combat sports with you.
It is, and I go to the weirdest classes. I take classes with people that, I've taken classes in schools people probably shouldn't be teaching. And I step back. I'm a guest in your gym. I don't, go in there and be like, I'm alpha. No, I don't do any of that crap. Hell, I've trained in Houston at Jeremy Mahone's gym after we fought. Like I've trained, all over the place. It's an honor to be able to go and be welcome somewhere else, because for them to open up their wealth of knowledge to somebody that doesn't train there normally, that's huge. There's a lot of gyms in this country that will say no, like, stay away from me. So to be kind of welcomed in that realm at numerous gyms is really cool. It's an honor.
No, absolutely. Now, I mean, for first and foremost, I mean, if I haven't already done so, good sir, thank you for your service because you are a Marine veteran. But obviously, where did your thirst for, or at least your acknowledgement for combat sports begin? Did it start pre your military service, during, like how that happened?
I grew up in northern Wisconsin. My dad boxed professionally way back in the day. So I was always taught you never back down from a street fight. But if you get into one, you better make sure you win. And if you don't win, don't come home. Is basically what I was always taught. And I mean, probably not the best thing to teach a kid, but I think that's just good parenting, honestly. You always stand up for yourself. I've had more out of school suspensions than I could probably shake a stick at. It's all good. I was on the wrestling team. I was on the football team. I love conflict. I was always a small guy. It's weird. I made an Instagram post today and I said, when you're born for war, I mean, that's all like, war. And I mean, shoot, I gave up college to go to the military and go to war when I knew war was imminent, right? Not too many people just go, college can wait. I'm going to go to war. It's that was something, and 17 years old, I became a Purple Heart recipient, August 29th, 2003. So I was 17, had my 18th birthday a few months later, or sorry, April 29th. A few months later, in June of 03, I turned 18 in downtown Baghdad. So, I knew what war was. Hell, I couldn't even vote or drink a beer, and I was already a Purple Heart recipient and a combat veteran. It's like, I couldn't even vote. But that was a self choice. That was my choice. I wanted to do that. When I got out of the Marine Corps, just to be honest, I was completely lost. I didn't know what to do, how to do it, where to go. I was in a bar in Wisconsin, and I was severely depressed. I was drinking. I was doing drugs, eating everything there was to eat. I was 260 pounds, about 262 at the time. And I remember this guy. This guy walks up to me, and he goes, "Hey, you look like a big dude." And I was like, "Yeah, what about it?" So stupid, right? And he goes, "You ever fight?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I fought. I took McMat." What? Yeah. And he's like, "I'll give you $500 bar tab if you get in the ring right now." And I was like, "Word, let's do this." And he goes, "What's your nickname?" And I was all, "They call me Crutch." Like, it was so stupid. And he's like, "All right." So he goes, "How do you spell that?" And I was like, Kruch. He goes, "With a K?" And I go, "Yeah, with a K." And he goes, "All right, cool." So he runs in the back. He actually brings me out a pair of sprawl shorts with crutch down the leg, in yellow. I still have the shorts to this day. It's hilarious. Yeah, dude, it's hilarious. But I fought a 44-year-old man that day at just shy of 20 years old. I fought a 44-year-old man. I used what wrestling was there, my completely out of shapeness. I used that and fought for 15 minutes and won a decision. That was my intro to mixed martial arts. Yeah, I ended up fighting about another 7 times, for the same promoter. It was really cool. I was fighting for like $100, $200 and a bar tab. Fought for lunch one time. It was cool. Like, I didn't know what else. I was working at Oshkosh Truck Foundation. They make all the military vehicles. I was working for them, and then I got a big offer with Duke Rufus. They were like, "Hey, if you go down there and you fight Gerald Mearshart," and I was like, "Yeah, I'll fight Gerald Mearshart." I was starting to lose weight at the time, and so if you look at my record, all my original fights, because they weren't sanctioned in the state of Wisconsin, they're all taken off. So Gerald Mearshart shows up as the first fight. I fought Gerald Mearshart when he was 16 years old in Chicago, Illinois, in a kickboxing with takedown match. MMA was highly illegal. You could go to jail for it and be arrested. So I fought Gerald when he was 16 in Chicago, Illinois. Little unknown fact. So technically that fight shouldn't even be there, but whatever. It is what it is. And I lost. I mean, Gerald and I threw down. We beat the crap out of each other. I think he head kicked me probably a good 3 or 4 times. And I finally, he ended up finishing me in the second round, but he beat the piss out of me, man. Made me second guess fighting. And then I got an offer from Dan Severn to fight in Cage Fury or some crap like that. Dan Severn decided once he got out of WWE, he was going to venture into mixed martial arts promoting. He had a square cage in a actual boxing ring with a cage, so it literally looked like Hell in a Cell. And
What?
yeah, man, it was in the middle of Ohio. MMA was like the forefront of MMA. Like MMA still, this is 2000, gosh, 5, 6, something like that. It was illegal everywhere. You had to find the cities that weren't illegal, and in Ohio. So I get a call, I get a message on MySpace at the time, and they're like, "Hey, if you drive to Ohio, this guy Dan Severn, who was in the UFC," I was like, "Whoa, I know who Dan Severn is." And they're like, "Yeah, if you drive out there, you can get $500 and a hotel room to fight this dude at 205 pounds." And I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Who is it?" And they're like, "Luke Zachrich." And I was like, "Whoever that is." I was like, "Cool, I'll fight him." So I show up. I weigh in at 172 pounds, and this guy weighs in at 208, and I was like, "All right, whatever." I walked in and threw an overhand right, missed, and next thing you know, my arm's damn near getting broken out of my shoulder blade. Luke Zachrich ended up fighting in the UFC. He was on the Ultimate Fighter. He's like 6'3", 205 pounds, soaking wet, ripped out of his gourd. Great guy, humble as hell. Invited me to move to Ohio with him after the fight. Unfortunately, I said, "Eh," and I came back out. I came out to California. It's just, there's been a lot of downs, a lot more ups. So my thirst for combat is always there.
No, absolutely. And again, you're in your 15-year career, it's pretty much mirrored essentially the entire sport of MMA. You're talking about, 03, 05 period. Well,
Yeah.
when you think about it, the term MMA didn't even come until 2007. So we're talking
Exactly.
about 2 to 5 years before that.
I was fighting NHB is what they called it, just the NHB fights, then no hold barred. I was fighting those Valley Tudo. It's like it didn't even exist, man. So it was really funny. God, I mean, talking. I date myself saying, "Shit, I started during MySpace days. Like people were messaging me on MySpace." Yeah, it's weird to like look at the evolution of the sport and sit back and people are like, "Oh, you're one of the blah blah blah," and I'm like, no, just me, dude, like just me, bud. I don't look at it like that.
But it a lot of, especially in the instances of like the UFC, right? We
Yeah.
always get the, "Do you train UFC, bro?" Because I mean, literally the right, because the organization and the lineage of the sport almost parallel each other. Versus like football, there was the game of football before there was the NFL. The game of basketball, whatever. But only in kind of our combat sports realm is the you know at the very least, the major North American company, is recognized with being the forefather of the sport. So, I mean, it's almost like a hangnail, right? Where it's grown into itself.
Well, I remember, like I fought for almost 8 years, 9 years, right? And then I got a text message on Christmas Day from Ali. Gosh, 2012, Christmas Day. Ali text me, super pretty famous manager.
Mm-hmm.
Khabib, everybody. So at the time, he was the vice president of operations of World Series of Fighting. And he texts me and he goes, "Ho, ho, ho, Merry Christmas. Do you want to fight in March?" I'll never forget that message. I have it saved to this day. And I wrote him back. Well, at the time, I was managed by Lex McMahon, an alchemist, who now owns Titan.
Mm-hmm.
And I text Lex McMahon and I go, "Yo, who the hell is Ali?" I was like, "And what's WSOF, man?" And he's like, "Yo, who sent you this message?" And Lex was out to dinner at the time, so Lex goes, "Hold on, let me figure this shit out." So he starts texting the number, and he's like, "Yo, they just offered you X amount to fight. And I was like, fuck it, let's go. And he's like, yo, you don't want to look at the guy? I go, no, I'm ready, bro. So that was my intro into the big show, if you would. Yeah, man, it was holy crap, dude. Yeah. So 2012, I mean, 8 years ago, man. It, dude, now I feel really old. Yeah, so 8 years ago, I got into that. I fought Mike Corey, Pat Curran's cousin. Pat Curran was in his corner. It was a week before Pat Curran won his belt back in 2013. Yeah, Pat Curran was in the corner. He freaking came in, doctor stoppage, came in, gave me a big hug. Jeff Curran was in his corner as well. The Curran brothers are gangsters and definitely legends in this sport. And they made the Midwest famous originally. So he came up to me. He's like, man, it's good. He goes, it was a great fight to have, two Midwestern boys throw down on WSOF 9. We were originally supposed to fight WSOF 8. That was in Ontario at the Dave and Buster's. We ended up, that fight fell through. Yeah, dude. The fight fell through. We ended up fighting in WSOF 9 at the Hard Rock in Las Vegas. And so at the time I was with Timo Yama, and Colin and Jiva Santana were in my corner. I threw down like it was, there was nothing left in my life, man. And I gave it all. Unfortunately, it had to be stopped. It is what it is. I had to go to the hospital with a torn retina and a blown eye socket, but it is what it is. It's all good. But it was a fun fight, man, to really just be there with, and know that I could stand at that level. And then, I took a little time off, and it's crazy. So you start looking at, different aspects, like the Jeremy Mahone thing. I got to tell you that story. So I've never told you this story. So how I got the Madison Square Garden fight is completely funny. My contract was almost up with World Series of Fighting. And I had heard, some rumor mill, Chad Robichaux, WSOF veteran, Strikeforce veteran, WEC vet. Chad Robichaux hits me up and he's like, hey, bro, you want to fight another veteran? And I was like, yo, what? And he goes, Ray Sefo has me putting together a veteran fight. But it's going to be a tournament. It's called Who's the Toughest? And I was like, yo, I'm down, dude. I'll fight anybody. I'll fight my own mother if I have to for a paycheck. So Chad goes, all right, good to go. So he hits me up. I get a text message from Ray Sefo asking me if I'm down to fight coming up. And I said, yeah. Well, I had heard rumors that this Madison Square Garden fight was going to get put together for a New Year's card. And all of a sudden, somebody hits me up and they're like, yo, your fight's in Denver. And I go, what? I was like, what the hell? Yeah, dude. So it was 2 months before in 2016. It was like in October. And so it's cold. It's elevation. It's at the Budweiser Center, the Budweiser Arena, which is a gangster arena. Don't get me wrong, but I hit up some guys that train up there at some training facilities, and they were like, yeah, you can come up a week early. I was starting to train hard, and I remember I was training with YL Watson at the time. YL Manolo was there, and my phone started going off, and I see it says Ray Sefo on the screen, and we had just finished MMA training, and I pick it up, and I was like, yeah, and he goes, are you sitting down? The fight's off. And I literally, my heart sunk, because the night before, a bunch of people started tagging on my Facebook. They started tagging Who's the Toughest, and I was the main event, and Jake Shields was co-main of this card and I was like, holy crap, Jake Shields is like sub to me, like, what's up, dude? It was like, it was an honor, it was cool. And I was gonna fight Jeremy at the time, and they had video of us, and they did a whole commercial thing for NBC Sports. It was really cool. And he goes, hey, the fight's off, and my heart sunk. And I was like, okay. I was like, all right. I was like, that sucks. And then he goes, but, and I go, what's up, Ray? And he goes, do you want to fight at Madison Square Garden instead on New Year's Eve? And I was like, what? Like, I'm freaked out. Yeah, how all this even came to fruition, Chad called me, and then I found out where Ray was going to be one night through Adam Hunter. Adam Hunter's Instagram. I found out that Ray was going to be, this is shoot, August time frame. So rewind a few months in 16. And I found out Ray was going to go to Adam Hunter's comedy show. And so I was like, I booked a flight. I left the gym. I booked a flight to Vegas that night to go see Adam Hunter in live because I'm friends with Adam Hunter. And I told him my whole skeevious plan, which was funny. I don't know how the hell I thought this was ever going to work. And I said, you know, I'm coming out there because I really want to be on. I really want to fight for Ray. I want to fight, you know, this veteran card. This who's the toughest thing was getting a lot of traction at the time before it was announced who was going to be on there. And they were only taking one pair of veterans for each weight. Well, obviously, dude, like, you know, I was like, shoot, man. So I flew out there and I walk up and I see Ray. Ray obviously knows me. And I was like, hey, Ray, how you doing, bud? And Adam Hunter walks up and goes, hey, Ray, I heard Shane's on Who's the Toughest. And he's like, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, hey, you know, opportunity doesn't come to you. Sometimes you need to go out and get it. And, you know, I went out and got it, man. I ended up getting me that Madison Square Garden fight. You know, I was lo and behold, less than a month later, I met Rena on Tinder, of all places. And yeah, man, you know, I've been blessed with her in my life. And, you know, to find out she's literally the girl version of me, which is really creepy. She likes all the same nerdy shit I do, all these Ewoks. She loves training. She supports everything I do, and I support everything she does. And, you know, to have somebody like that fall in my life during that time when Boogie was in my corner, her and Nora literally just sat in the crowd and you know, watched me throw down. And, you know, and then she sat in the room with me and we got in the van with Jake Shields in the morning and drove to the airport. And she was like, you know, I think she was hooked from that moment forward. She had always been an MMA fan, but I feel personally, you know, I feel that's what really just hooked her. And, you know, she's like, whoa, dude, like this is real when you're on the other end of the curtain.
So, I mean, you guys, well, shout out to Adam Hunter and MMA Racer because he's awesome, right? But you guys met on Tinder?
Hell yeah, we did. Yeah. So I met so I had never been on a dating site and I was single, and there was somebody at the gym at the time that, you know, was an avid Tinder, Bumble, and like I don't know all the other apps. I don't know what all these things are. And they helped me set up a Tinder profile. And I didn't know what it was. I was like, yeah, sure. Swipe, you know. And all of a sudden I swiped accidentally left, which is denying them, I guess. And I go, oh shit, that girl was really hot. And so I had to call this person at the gym and I was like, hey, I just effed up. I accidentally denied this person. Please. And they're like, oh, you have to pay X amount of dollars. You have to pay for the premium account to get the person back. And I was like, done. So I quickly sign on and I pull up my credit card and I actually got her back. And I swiped right. And like an hour later, she swiped right on me. And I was like, yes. Yeah. And then she eluded me like a little shithead. Like we talked. She was training at City Boxing at the time, just doing kickboxing. But she was, you know, she's killing it, man. She was working 12, 14-hour days for Hensel Phelps at the time, and then going to City Boxing at night, dude. Like that girl's crazy, right? So she's freaking, I'd write her every morning and say, good morning, hope you have a good day. And then every night ask her how training went and stuff like that. And finally, one Saturday, I was like, you know what? She's playing games with me. I think she's playing games with me. And I asked her what she's doing at night. She said, oh, I'm going to my girlfriend. Da, 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 da. And I didn't have my daughter at the time. She was at her mom's house. And then I was like, oh, cool. What are you doing this morning? She goes, oh, you know, just, you know, hanging out with my dogs and doing some laundry. I was like, cool. So you got lunch open? And she's like, and didn't text back. And she goes, oh, yeah, I guess I could do that. So when I showed up, she came downstairs in lazy clothes, her red little hoodie and no makeup, no anything, just came downstairs. She was trying to scare me off and it didn't work. And now fast forward, look at us now.
Now, here we are. We're supposed to be promoting your August 21st fight, but this became the greatest advert for Tinder because I mean, to get two like-minded fighters together, right? You know, like that's 100% success rate. I'm like, shit.
Oh, done, man. I don't know why I'm not getting paid for Tinder commercials. No,
dude, slide into those DMs. Shade Crushing War Rhino. I'm just saying,
Make
Tinder.
it
That's
work.
a paid sponsorship.
I mean, literally I think all my profile said was just chilling. What's good is all it said. I had a picture of me at WSOF fighting, kneeing a guy in the mouth, and then I had a dressed up picture and something else. She had a picture holding a salmon in Alaska, and that sold me because it was that picture, and then the next, and it was all bloody, and then the next picture was her all dressed up and dolled up, and I was like, "Yo, who's this girl? I need to meet this girl."
Yeah, dude. We're gonna work on this. I mean, I'm almost determined that for your August 24th Bellator fight, 21st Bellator fight, you need to have Tinder on your shorts and your banner. Like that's like the greatest story ever. I don't think any other PR campaign and their suits and ties could ever work up a story like you and Rena, for sure. Now, obviously, I mean, we got to talk about it, right? So Bellator, all right, is I mean, they're pretty much holding court at the Mohegan Sun Arena, kind of turned it into their battle dome, so to speak. And
Literally.
yeah, and you're fighting, man. That's so awesome. Um, now tell us about like the process.
So what I know, what I can say, and all this fun stuff is, there's when we get there, we're quarantined. Like that's it. We land. We're in Bellator world. They call it the Bellator bubble or some shit, like whatever they call it. So once we land, I mean, it's no longer these, there's a couple no names on the card, just locals, but a lot of the guys that are all like very experienced still have fights on their contract. They're trying to, they're still trying to put on, I mean, not trying, they are putting on some very exciting fights. I don't know if you saw last night's. Holy crap. I'll be on the card with Roy Nelson. I mean, dude, IFL Roy Nelson, like, yo, like what? This will be my second time I've been on the card with Ryan Bader, so that's a huge, awesome thing. I'm on the card with some really big killers in the light heavyweight divisions. And it's just really cool to, be out there. But unfortunately, so I've read, when you get there, the floors are quarantined, the housing floors. You're basically in your room. You got COVID tests when you get there, before you get there, when you get there, and then you get COVID tested daily. So basically it's 4 tests in 4 days. And then you get to your workout areas are all quarantined on the pavilion side, in different little pods, is basically all I know. So yeah, when you get there, man, they have a whole, it's like 12-page thing for us, which is really cool. I mean, thankfully, Bellator seems that they have it down, man. They haven't had anybody pop thus far. They're not like the UFC where they're rushing it and people are popping left and right, whether it's a cornerman, whether it's a fighter. Unfortunately, Gerald Mershard fight got scrapped last week because he popped on day of
Mm-hmm.
test, for the UFC. But Bellator hasn't been having that. So, maybe, everybody's kind of overreacting with Bellator's safety, and, they're in Connecticut. Why are they locking down? Why are they doing this? Well, you know what? Bellator is doing it for our safety. First and foremost. The only thing I don't agree with, but I'll do what I got to do for my job and for my promotion, is wear a face mask. But hey, you know what? Out of respect for the Bellator staff, the Bellator, people that are putting it on the line, I've been an avid against the mask, but you know what? That's their spot, right? That's not my house. That's like their house, and I will show more than enough respect to the tribe at the Mohegan Sun, as well as the Bellator staff, and wear one. For that week, I will probably be rocking a mask that is in complete support of the police force. I will not bow down. I stand by police 110%, and I won't stop when my platform allows me to show respect for it. So especially with everything going on right now, come get me. The good thing is a lot of people that hate me, 99% of them can't beat me up, so I'm okay. But, you know, uh, so The thing is with Bellator locking us down, the first day it's a safety day, so they have to deliver meals to our room, stuff like that. My wife will be in my corner. I'll have my wife, I'll have Boogeyman, I'll have Bill Crawford, all in my corner. So my wife's more of a filler, but she's always been a good luck charm. She's always either been at the fight or been in the room. Well, guess what? Now she's a corner. She'll be one hell of a bucket carrier. But I got Bill and Boogie, and I mean I don't need any more than that. Boogie's cornered me in one of my biggest fights of my career. Bill's been with me for 15 years. He knows everything I do.
I think that's a winning recipe, and that's one thing that I don't think, because obviously, UFC's gotten a lot of hate sometimes, or even love, right? Through their handling of everything during this kind of last couple months situation. But Bellator, I mean, overall has been really consistent in showing, who you guys are, and, letting you guys wear and express yourself in the best way possible. And shout out to Scott Coker, Rich True, and, so
Hogan.
many people. Yeah. Yeah. So many people at Bellator that are awesome. Now, speaking of awesome, we've got Everett Osmer. He says, dude, thank you for your service. Huge fan. So
Thank
shout out to Everett there. And he's asking, what thus far in the career of the Royal Rhino is your toughest fight?
you. There's so many tough fights I've had, honestly. Toughest fight. Okay, so this is like a numerous part different question.
Yeah.
One of my yeah, I know, right? So one of my most mentally toughest fights that I've ever had was Aaron Pico. Unbeknownst to everybody, I lost over 45 pounds in less than a month to fight him. To get to 45, I was coming off severe depression. I should have never taken that fight. I led myself to the slaughter. But in following that, I became a better person, better fighter, better everything. I became a better man. And Aaron and his father and his brother are all huge supporters of me now. I see them at different events, and I've been able to give them all hugs and been able to talk to them. Aaron messages me back and forth, so it's really cool. I think honestly, one of my toughest losses that I ever had was against Daniel Strauss. And that was when I fought the two-time world champion Daniel Strauss. Eddie Cha, man, got me in such good motion. I was with Eddie Cha, John Crouch, all the boys at the lab, Benson, and everybody. I had never felt more ready for a high-level fight ever in my life. When I walked in against Daniel, I was ready to go. I was zigging, zagging, doing everything that Eddie had told me, playing the yo-yo game with Daniel. You could see Daniel openly getting frustrated with my movement and my constant just coming and pitter-patter, move out. He was throwing his hands up like, yo, because he wanted the gunslinging fight. Unfortunately, I bit his gunslinging fight bait. He dangled the carrot, and I bit that shit, and I ate a left hand. I think that was one of the toughest losses of my career, was that one. That one bit me nice and hard just because I was so confident and so ready going into that fight. I think that one was one of my toughest.
No, those are both, amazing picks. I remember, being at the forum after the Pico fight, and, I was just like, dude, I'm so proud of you. And you were dressed to the nines with your American flag bow tie and whatever. And you were like, with tears in your eyes, you're like, I'm sorry. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what you didn't know is, like, I'm a proud graduate of Inglewood High School. We had our high school commencement ceremony right there at the forum, right? And so the fact that I'm talking to my friend who just fought at the arena where I had my graduation, and I was like, I couldn't be more proud of you. Like, win, lose, or draw, that was just like the dopest shit ever.
Yeah. What's crazy is, my little brother came out, my little tiny brother, my 6'2", 400-pound brother, tiny guy. He came out to the fight, man. And, he came up and grabbed me at Aaron Pico fight. And he said, "You're not allowed to cry. Don't be a pussy." I was like, what? Like, and he's like, fuck it. He goes, I don't care what any of these people say. I'll beat everybody up in his arena if they want to talk shit. And I was like, oh, damn, dude. And it is cool. I mean, not very many people ever make it to Bellator. Even on the undercard, like cool, but like I made it to the main card of Bellator, and then my very next fight, I was a co-main event of Bellator. Like my pictures on posters. I couldn't tell you 15 years ago I ever fathomed that happening. I wouldn't have been able to think about that ever. So to be able to have posters and my name on things and be able to hand that, and it's actually my picture next to a former world champ. Daniel and I still stay in touch. I messaged him the other day on his birthday, and he said, you mean a lot. It means a lot to me to have you message me. So and Henry Corrales, great friend of mine, training partner, absolute killer in the cage. Henry and I went up to the bar after my fight against Daniel, and Daniel was there. We might have partaken in some medications, but we sat there, and he looked right at Henry. He goes, "The hardest I've ever been fucking hit is by you." That's what he said to Henry Corrales, and I mean that's a freaking honor, dude. Like I'm like, yo, that's my training partner, yo, and that's a guy I just fought. We took a picture, and it's cool, man. It's and Joe Schilling came up and said that was a good fight, and so it was cool. It was, dude. I was like, hell yeah, man. It's weird to I something I posted before I fought Strauss. I said, when your idols become your opponents is when you've done it right.
You know what? I couldn't have put it any better myself. And it's been a wondrous career. And obviously it's not done yet. Not
No,
by a long shot.
no.
Hell no.
We're still going, baby.
Yeah, damn right. But
I'm just moving up in weight. That's it.
that's it. But I mean, one last what can people expect when the War Rhino steps in, as Michael Williams says, in the Bellator cage? There you go. What can they expect out of the War Rhino come August 21st?
You're going to see a War Rhino that comes in a lot better on strength. Not so malnourished. I'm not cutting down to 45 being dumb anymore. I'm a 35-year-old man that is, finally has my diet, nutrition, honed in. I've always had it honed in, but I've always had to deplete my body so much to get to 45. People don't understand that 6'1" frame to get to 45 is absolute painstaking. If you notice, the Diaz used to cut down, and now he's at 70, and now he looks good. I feel a lot stronger now. I feel like I'm able to actually perform. My hands are actually hands. I actually know what throwing them means. And I know what head movement means. Tiger Small's always, Hall of Fame boxer, he's like, God damn, bro, I'm stealing you for boxing. I'm like, yo, no. We're not going that far. But it's cool to, actually be with, coaches and have my heart in the right place again. I got lost for a long time, and I was kind of running my own shit show. And just to be able to be like, okay, yo, kind of like that Jesus take the wheel thing. I'm letting the coaches take the wheel. You tell me what I need to do, and I'll do it. It's cool to not need to be the instructor, to be the instructed is the War Rhino you're going to see. So I think a student of the game is a lot more deadly than a teacher of the game.
Oh man, I couldn't agree with you more. And again, I can't beat you up, so I'm forced to submission. So there it is. But obviously, this is your time to shine. Obviously, there are a litany of people that have helped you come to who you are right now. So let's get some shout outs out of the way, my man.
First and foremost, any military member, family member, husband, wife, child, parent, aunt, uncle, whatever, of any fallen soldier, Marine, sailor, everything, God bless you. I wouldn't be here without all of them. I have 19 names down my back that I'll ever be able to carry along, whether it's in the cage, whether it's at jiu-jitsu, whether it's on the beach. I'll always carry those names. I'll always carry it along, like we the people, like there's a reason. Also, thank you to all the law enforcement out there that's doing it right, that's doing their job the right way. I don't support pieces of shit in any culture, in any way, shape, or form, in any job. So if you're a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit. But all the guys, policemen, firemen, any of those guys that are doing it right, thank you, and God bless you, and I hope you guys stay safe. And I'm all about the thin blue line, and I will always support it. Past that, I want to say thanks to Bill Crawford, Average Joe, at 10th Planet San Diego, Honu Jiu Jitsu. You guys have given me, everything. Alliance Jiu Jitsu, black belt under Alliance, and just proud as hell of my lineage. Azteca Boxing with Adrian. Thank you for everything. Everybody at the lab, Stronghold. Man, it's just the list goes on and on. Upgrade MMA, Ranger Up always had my back. Lace and Loop, God, my newest sponsor, Traeger Grills. I'm absolutely dumbfounded by the things I can create on this grill. So thank you very much for that. Punch Junk. And geez, I could probably sit here for an hour and say thank you. My mom had a massive heart attack a couple weeks ago. So I want to say, send my heart and prayers to you, Mom. I can't see you right now because this COVID shit. They won't let me at the hospital. And I guess kicking down the door at a hospital isn't advised. So that's all good. But past that, she knows she's an absolute fighter. I'm a war dog. I'm not gonna die. I'm gonna leave this world like I came into it, bloody and kicking and screaming. So we're good to go.
I say that's pretty apropos. But I mean, obviously, all good thoughts, prayers, and everything to your mom. But she raised you, so I know she's got a hell of a lot of fight in her. So
I asked her, real quick, sorry, but I asked, I said, Mom, what if you get COVID? She goes, oh, fuck it. And I go, wait, what? And she goes, I lived a good goddamn life. If COVID fucking kills me, this shit's bullshit. And I was like, oh, damn, dude. I was like, okay. Damn, I love you. Fuck.
But I mean, that's she's got a lot of fights. So whatever's going on with her health wise, I mean, it's not gonna last. So there's that.
And it is what it is. I mean, heart attacks happen every day. It's how you come out of it that that really matters.
Damn right. Now, for things that matter, to follow what the War Rhino is doing, especially in his march to Bellator at the Mohegan Sun on August 21st. Where can they find you on social media, my man?
So Instagram is everything is war, WAR_RHINO, War Rhino. It's the little blue check mark, little goofy bastard holding my own name. That has at Krutchten MMA. That's my Twitter. Add my professional page on Facebook is Shane Krutchten MMA. I'm quite open on Instagram. I'm a diehard Republican. Just because I'm diehard right, though, doesn't mean I will not talk to somebody that has different views. I love constructive conversations. If you're going to come at me and attack me, be ready to get attacked back because I'm all about that life. But I will at the same time have a professional conversation with you, no matter who you are or what your views are. And if I ever die, don't let me vote Democrat. But anyways, past that, the thing is, you can find me on there. I'm on there on live, my stories, everything. You'll see a lot of, my views. You'll see a lot of my daughter, my training, my wife, my training her, her fights coming up. You'll see a lot of stuff. Don't, follow Reen the Mean Bean, I think is her damn Instagram name. Changes that shit all the time. I don't know. But no, she's, she's starting to get active on there, which is huge. Big things coming for her. We had to turn something down, but that is for betterment. There's some big stuff coming. There's been phone calls. People are highly interested in her. So, she's not the same fighter you guys saw a year ago. She's going to be a hell of a lot more scarier. She actually has ground now and actually has cage work. She's not just this rudimentary, girl with amazing hands. Now she's got hands and ground. And that's, I mean, I'll be honest, dude. She's scarier than me. Like me, I'm like, oh, I'm just the War Rhino, and I'm like, fuck, watch out for her. So let's be real. But thanks to everybody at 10th Planet, San Diego too. No matter what my mood is in, taking strength conditioning, taking jujitsu, whatever I take over there, I've always had a plethora of supporters. Honu, Allianz, all those guys, just always people supporting me. If people badmouth me, it gets back to me right away, and it's really funny. The people that do badmouth me, it's the biggest haters are always the least successful, so it's the best part.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think it's pretty apropos, and I love that you're promoting a open dialogue and discourse, because the thing about it is that's what makes us all, there's a specific set of circumstances that
Exactly.
make us arrive to where we are, feel, whatever, and everybody's like, I'm not going to talk to this side, I'm not going to whatever. Well, we're going to be at a steadfast. We're going to be at a standstill, and nothing's going to get done. So come
Well,
on,
last year I started running for Congress, as I think you knew that. I started
yeah.
running for the California 50th in East County, all the way up to Temecula, and I started running for that. And everybody's like, "Whoa," and my campaign manager actually got a phone call saying, "Yo, he's a little too crazy. We already got Trump. We don't need him." So the people that called him too were like, "Yo, if he wants to run in the future, we'll support him. But right now, we can only handle one." But it's all good. Like, yeah, I'm a little out there. Yeah, I'm crazy. Yeah, I'm very staunch in my views, and I'm dead. But I will always listen if you have a different view. I will always listen if you have a different insight, because God forbid, what if you know something I don't know, and that's truth, right? Like, maybe I can add something to my argument. You never know. So I, at least, and the only one that taught me that was my wife. Before her kind of teaching me that, man, I was so like, no, it's either Republican or you die, and like, but now I'm like, okay, cool. And big shout out too, if anybody's watching this, Tito Ortiz for Huntington Beach City Council, vote him in 2020, baby. Tito Ortiz, get that.
No, Tito's a really fucking cool dude, man.
Yeah,
we shared a moment together at the weigh-ins for the Tito Chuck 3, and I fucking love that guy. He's cool. He's fucking cool, dude.
Just him and Amber Nicole, man, like, between them and Bill Goldberg and like all these guys, like, great friends of mine, and it's crazy. I can just text these guys on a daily, but it's to see them chasing dreams, and Tito now chasing the political dream. Like, that's huge, man. And he's really set up, if you think about it, in Huntington Beach to really, make a run the right way. And do good things for the beach community. So I'm stoked, man. I don't even live in Huntington Beach. Shit, and I want to go there to help out. It is what it is. Oh, I forgot one call out. Not call out. Yeah. Whoa. But I just want to say thanks to my manager, Julian. Julian, Upgrade Management, Upgrade MMA. He's always had me like upgraded like tenfold. He's got Brian Ortega, all those guys, shoot, it's the who's who. So it's really, Dominic Reyes. It's really cool to be under such a stable of great people that always help with whatever I need, however I need it. So appreciate that.
No, shout out to Julian Gregorio and Marcos Bonilla and the entire Upgrade Management team. I mean, Marcos Bonilla was a part of the very first thing that I did on Facebook called Two Guys, One Phone. Yeah, so there's that, bringing it all full circle, dude. But I mean, the full circle is the shape of the Bellator cage. So so we
did there.
Yeah, I can do some clever shit too. But dude, thank you for joining us. Obviously, again, August 21st, Bellator. What number is it?
244.
244. War Rhino steps into the Bellator cage, and he's new and improved. And we might even have to get Rena in here sometime soon.
Not right now. She'll probably kick my
Oh
ass if
yeah,
I
no,
was
no,
fighting.
sometime
No,
soon. But
yeah, I think she would love that. She would definitely be honored. And with the phone calls that are coming, I can see it sooner than later. So,
ooh, all right, that's cool. But again, thank you to the War Rhino, Shane Krutchten. I'm According to Woods, and we are out. Thank you guys. And again, Bellator 242, August 21st on the Paramount Network. See this guy do action. But I love you guys. You're awesome. Bye bye.